Good morning, everyone. Happy Supercharged Manifesting Monday. I'm back and I got to figure out all the technology all over again. All right. Good morning. Happy Monday. We are back together again. It's been 2 weeks, I think. I don't know. It seems like forever, but I'm happy to be back. I'm happy for this conversation. I can't wait for you all to join, whether you're watching live or you're watching YouTube or you're watching the replay. Happy Monday. Hey, Leslie. Hey, Diane. Good morning. Hi, Beth. Happy Monday. Good morning. All right. So as you're all joining, please come in, give your love to each other. Let's start this week off just sharing some love. And I'm going to talk about my greatest manifestation with the intention that it inspires all of you. As you know, one of the things that I pride myself on is, the fact that I committed to this body of work. I would say it seems like probably 15 years ago, but for me, honestly, it's been way longer because I feel like innately I kind of came in to this life with the full knowing that I could create my reality. As a child, what I would do is I would really just enjoy daydreaming and fantasizing. I got in so much trouble, so much trouble as a kid for wandering off and just spending the entire day in the woods. And all I would do was fantasize. I literally had like a whole other world that Tasha existed in, and it was my world, and it was amazing, and it was fun. And I, as a child, didn't understand that there was anything weird about that, wrong with that. I didn't really talk to a lot of people about it, so there was not like this external judgment of it. I just knew I absolutely loved it. It seemed natural as breathing to me, and here I am, an adult, basically living the same life that I did as a child, which I am constantly dreaming up and creating the things that I want to experience in my life. And as intention would have it, as God would have it, I went through some hard knocks in life, went through some moments, and found my way out of those moments by doing exactly what I did as a child, which was literally to just go, okay, so what is the fantasy? What is the dream? What is the ideal? And feed my thoughts with those images and then live them. And on top of that, I get to share everything that I've learned on that journey with all of you. So for me, I'm living in the ultimate sweet spot, right? Um, I I love it. Yay! How to make it a reality. So I want to share with you, and I share all of that to say, when I tell you that this morning I'm going to talk about my greatest manifestations, I would say in the last 15 years, my mind, if I were to list like great manifestations, not like the everyday stuff, but what I think of as, wow, my mind is blown, I would be here for 3 days just talking from my journals, going through my journals and just sharing thing after thing after thing after thing with you, because it's been so many amazing things. In fact, if you know me for 2 minutes, 2 hours, one of the things that I'll say is, why would anyone not choose to live like this? For me, it blows my mind that it really is this simple and even easy. I think we make it hard, but it is definitely this simple, and it really can be this easy. And I don't know. I did it the hard way. I did it all the other ways, all the other ways. And after all of this time, seeing what has happened by just journaling, visualizing, setting an intention, writing things down all around my office, doing boards that reflect what I want to call into my life when I have no idea how it's going to happen, and then have it materialize. To me, I can't understand why anyone would want to do it any other way, because every other way to me seems really hard. But having done that for this long, I just want to share some of the things that I have manifested. And I'm going to start with travel, because if you've been following me, you know I'm back from an amazing vacation and I've manifested so many. Um, One of my recent favorites was when my husband and I first met, and we decided he was sharing with me some of the places he wanted to travel, and I love travel. So I was like, okay, let's get on this bandwagon together. Where do you want to go? And he was like, Bora Bora. So I went online, and as I say, they listen. And so within 2 days, I was seeing all kind of Bora Bora ads on Facebook, and one of them was a free vacation to the St. Regis. And so I took a screenshot of it, saved it on my phone, and said, I am so happy and grateful. I go to Bora Bora paid in full, right? Now, in my mind, it's we are going to Bora Bora paid in full. Long story short, my husband surprised me, and for our honeymoon, we went to Bora Bora, and he paid for our honeymoon. And so I got my trip to Bora Bora paid in full. But it's like I laugh my head off at the way all the things came together for that to manifest, but it did. I set the intention, I put it out there that I was in Bora Bora paid in full, and it manifested. The how is not our part. I manifested a trip to Peru. Diane and I went, I think, for 14 to 21 days, some long period of time. I had wanted to go to Peru for a long time. Really, like everybody else, I saw images of Machu Picchu. I know about the spiritual power of that space, that place, the history, and I just wanted to experience it. And I had it on my board for a long time. Finally, I decided something's up. Why am I not manifesting this? I manifest everything else. What's going on here? And so one year I just decided I'm going to be deliberate about when I'm going. So I put the date on there for that year. And sure enough, within 2 weeks, in my email was an offer to go for 60% off for like way more time than I was ever planning. It was a tour, so we got to see so much of Peru, and on it goes, right? I got to see the Amalfi Coast. Like me, this little girl in Jamaica, growing up, seeing these things in magazines or on TV and these distant lands and thinking, oh my gosh, where in the world are these places? I would love to go. I would love to experience it. And so these have always been, for me, it might not seem like a big deal to you to go to Italy and go on the Amalfi Coast. But for me, coming from a little tiny island where just to get to the United States was like a massive deal. To go to these other countries was just such a childhood dream for me. And so to end up experiencing some of these places, going to the Greek islands, going to Norway. I have a lot of DNA, a lineage from Norway. Like, who would have ever guessed? Going to Scotland, where my grandfather is from, just coming back from Ibiza, like that blew my mind the way that worked out. I had zero intentions of going to Ibiza as of May. My whole plan, I was going to Europe for a retreat. It got canceled, and I was like, oh, well, where else would I want to go? And there it was. I went to, like, you know what I mean? It's incredible to me, the things that I've manifested just in travel. Another thing that blows my mind was I decided somewhere on my journey, if I ever got to having $500,000 in the bank at one time, that would be it. I had arrived. 500, it seems like so much money to me. It seemed honestly like $500,000 just sitting in a bank account would be like I have achieved the greatest level of financial freedom, right? And so I manifested it. And the way it came together was so unexpected. Now, the other thing about manifesting is that I manifested the $500,000, and then I was buying a house at the time and out it went, right? But my intention that I had had for the longest time, which was to have $500,000 in a bank account, manifested. I still like, my mind is just still blown. And here's my mind is blown about is the way all the little things that came together for that manifestation to occur. About my dream home. One of the things I never thought ever, I'd always been, I mean, I literally graduated college and got married. So when I got divorced, I was still living in the home that my husband and I had purchased together, mostly because of his income and his job. So to move into what I once thought of as like, wow, a dream, like my dream house, brand new, custom built for me, mind blowing, right? But manifested. I I've always driven like the mommy cars, the what was it? I had a Honda Odyssey, I had a Honda CRV, I had a Mazda Tribute, like always the just like modest, very, just right there, stay responsible and within your means, kind of the way I looked at cars. And then just deciding, you know what, one of the things I want to manifest is a luxury car. And I'm on my second one. And it's like sometimes I have to pinch myself, like the way these things happen. If you know the story about my first one, I literally walked into the car dealership with my cell phone. That was it. No license, no checkbook, nothing. I walked in so defiant that I wasn't going to buy that brand of car, but I was willing to go look. And I literally drove home that night with my first luxury car. And now I'm on to my second. And how I got the second was the same way. I got my journal and I wrote out, this is the kind of car I want. This is the monthly payment I want. These are all the things I want them to throw in. And I drove off the lot with all of those things. And I did it all by myself. So for me, massive manifestation. What you might think of was the greatest manifestation of my life is probably what you've all watched because it's happened before your eyes, where I got married. I met and married the most amazing man that I could never think I would attract and let alone marry, right? That kind of man even existed to me is mind blowing. And that he would come into my life and would choose and see me as like the all that there is for such a man. And one of the things that I said when I wrote my profile on the dating app was that we both feel like we won the jackpot. And I truly feel that. As much as I know he feels like he won a jackpot, I for sure feel like I won a jackpot, right? So I know a lot of people, because you watch me be single and you watch me do the dating thing for what, 12 years? 12 years. And so for you to see me and watch me get married, we'll be married, we'll be celebrating our first year anniversary in 2 weeks, a week and a half. But to watch that, I'm sure so many would think, oh, for sure, that's Tasha's greatest manifestation. And then there is creating a business that's generated multi-seven figures. Again, the way that occurred, Diane and I were at an event and I grabbed my journal and I journaled that she was going to agree to be my business partner. And the rest is history. We have built this incredible business together. And the fact that it has generated the kind of revenue that it has is amazing. And so you might think that's my greatest manifestation. And then let's talk about my children. Like every other mom, there are moments when I want to go, what are you thinking? What are you doing? But truthfully, and my friends and I, we had a conversation about this recently. If you just sit back and look, my children are succeeding, they're thriving, they're very incredible human beings. And I manifested that because coming out of my divorce, I had a lot of guilt and worry and concern about what would happen, what would their lives turn out to be. And so I journaled and visualized and scripted everything that's happening in their lives. There's still some stuff that I wish I could still change, but the bottom line is that is a great manifestation. The thing that we want as parents, is our children's happiness and their success and that they're thriving in life. And so I'm like blown away by what's happening in their lives. So maybe it could be that, but it's none of those things. None of those things are my personal greatest manifestation. And this morning, I want to share what it is with you. And I want you to just sit back, take a deep breath, and hear me out, because I want you to consider this as your own personal greatest manifestation, no matter all the things that you've manifested, right? For me, it's what the Bible refers to as being born again. That is my greatest manifestation, that I took a girl with all of the life circumstances that would say I should never be here. I took a woman who went through all of the life things, the choices that I made that I'm really not proud of. Took some hard knocks in life, and all of the evidence that would prove, the appearances that would prove that everything that I just listed to you as wonderful manifestations, I really shouldn't have, right? And I took all of those things. I did the work. I chose to become a different Tasha. I chose to be born again. I chose to transform myself. And so my greatest manifestation is watching the work that I did to go from this person, this woman with these circumstances, these appearances, to the woman that I am today with all of the things that are behind that, right? All of the manifestations that has come as a result of that self transformation, that decision to be born again, that decision to choose that version of me. That is my greatest manifestation. And here is why. Because in the fact that I was able to do that, I realized I can do it anytime in my life. At any time in my life, I can choose to be born again. I can choose to renew myself. I can choose to transform. I have the code now. I have the secret. I have the knowledge and the understanding and the know how. I have years of evidence of proving to myself that I can do it. And so, yeah, it was great to manifest the $500,000, but it's like, okay, so you did it once, can you do it again? You know, okay, it was just by chance that you got the luxury car and they agreed, right? Anything that I listed, you can say, well, okay, you did it that one time. But for me, knowing that I did the work, that I watched myself, that I made myself transform, that I co created everything with God, but that I chose that. I chose to self transform. I chose to renew myself. I chose to be born again. That for me is the absolute greatest manifestation of all time. Because you know what? I know, like I know now, I can do it. I know it. I know it in the like every fiber of my being. Does it mean I never worry ever? No, I'm a human being. Does it mean I don't get anxious? Does it mean I don't have fears? No. But because I have done that transformation, because I have the evidence within me, the proof, the knowing within me, then I can get myself out of those moments a lot faster and a lot more effectively. And I understand that it's not like, oh, I've transformed and it's over, right? Like, okay, great, game over, you won. No, like I get to keep transforming. I get to keep having that be my greatest manifestation. And what I want you to hear from all of that is that there are laws. There are laws that we just need to understand and to use to create the versions of ourselves that we desire. And when you apply those laws, when you learn them and you apply them and you choose to change yourself, all of the things that you desire will come into your existence. All of the things. It's not that you choose. It's so this is the reason why I wanted to have this conversation, because I think sometimes people think, oh, let me learn how to manifest, how to get a house, how to get a guy, how to get a car, how to get money. Let me learn how to manifest so I can get the things. And you miss it. You miss the whole point. The greatest manifestation that you will ever have in your life is transforming yourself. When you transform yourself, you now have the code. You now have the secret. You have the know how. You are the one who decides. And when you change, all of the things that are in alignment with that transformation come along. That's the way it works, right? So, that's right. You get to know that you are the source, right? I want to inspire all of you this morning. I want you to sit. I could easily ask you to think of your greatest manifestations in things and experiences, but I want you to really take a moment, grab your journal, and just reflect on who have you become? What is the transformation that you've seen in yourself? Because if you see yourself changing, that is your greatest evidence that all of the things and the experiences that are in alignment to that new you are a part of your reality. They're there in your vortex, just waiting to, step into physical reality, and you don't need to worry about it. It's already there. And then the next question I would ask myself is, and who do I want to become from here? Where do I go from here? Who do I want to be next? That's a question I'm asking myself. Who do I want to be next? What does the new Tasha look like? Right? What is she embodying? What is the transformation that I'm going to get to talk about 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Because it's not one and done. We keep changing. And that's right. I hold the key. I am evolving. That's right. Your greatest commitment to manifestation should be the manifesting the transformation of you. My greatest manifestation has been and will forever be the manifestation of the version of me that I wanted, right? I wanted the version of me that was happily married. I wanted the version of me that was operating a business that had generated multi-seven figures. I wanted the version of me that was a parent of happy, thriving kids. I wanted the version of me that traveled to luxurious places and enjoyed, all of the world. I wanted that version of me. So I had to manifest becoming her. I didn't manifest the travel. I didn't manifest the husband. I didn't manifest the car. I didn't manifest the house. I manifested the version of me that had those things. That is my share for you this morning. And I'm going to leave you with that self-reflection. Reflect on the transformation you've experienced, and also reflect on where do you go from here? Who do you choose to be from here? And know that that version of you is also aligned to things and experiences, but first you manifest that version of you, right? I also want to share that last week when I was away, I sent an email out for everyone to listen to an episode of my podcast. And I don't know how many of you know that we launched a Permission to Be Wealthy podcast. We're into our third season. We're about to release our third season. And so if you're ever like driving around, just wanting something to feed your mind, feed your spirit, get you thinking, having more conversations like this, really, truthfully, the reason I created that podcast was to remind you, to have conversations that reminded you, you deserve wealth. And so I want everyone, if you haven't already subscribed to the podcast, go ahead and type the word podcast. Go ahead and type the word podcast in the comments right now. Hang on, let me put this up. And you should get a link in your Facebook Messenger that will allow you to subscribe to the podcast. And go ahead, we've got 2.5 seasons that you can go back and listen to and enjoy. The last episode that I shared last week was where I told more of my personal story. I really think that you all will enjoy that. And if it doesn't work for you here, just go wherever you listen to podcasts and type in Permission to Be Wealthy by Tasha Chen, and I'm sure the podcast will come up. But I wanted to share that resource with all of you. Go ahead and type the word podcast in the comments. Hang on a second. Type the word podcast, subscribe to the podcast, share it, please. The more people, the more women that are out there knowing that they deserve to be wealthy, that they are being granted permission to experience wealth, I truly believe is a better world that we will live in. Mwah. I love you all. Have a great Monday. Bye, everyone.